Well, let's talk to Debbie Connolly. She's a dog behaviour expert. Debbie, thanks a lot for talking to us this afternoon. There was a report last year that said hospital admissions because of dog attacks were up 81% from 2005. Why is this happening, Debbie?
Well, good afternoon, and my condolences to anyone affected by the current tragedy. I think there's a distinct lack of education out there. There are behaviours that dogs show that can seem quite innocuous: yawning, stretching, licking at their lips, for example. Now, a behaviourist knows that these are potentially things that are showing that the dog is stressed or worried or in a difficult situation and wants some space. But they are quite sort of innocuous behaviours in themselves, and people make mistakes and think that a dog is happy when it's not. A wagging tail is another classic thing. I've had a conversation this morning with someone who believed that their dog grumbling at one end and wagging the tail at the other was somehow negating the growling, and that's not the case. So I think there's a distinct lack of education out there, and people tend to manage problems rather than trying to fix them.
But Debbie, is this across all breeds that you're talking now?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things I do in my work is I assess dogs who've bitten in order to bring evidence to court to explain to the court why something has happened and what could be done to prevent that particular dog doing that again. And it's anything and everything from tiny breeds to huge breeds, everything. Any dog has the potential to cause a problem, and owners need to understand their dogs better, and they need to make sensible adjustments if a child is going to join their family.
But aren't there some breeds that are more predisposed to attacking people?
No, absolutely not. There are breeds whose inherent personality is a lot stronger. There are breeds who need a lot more exercise. There are breeds that are far more challenging to own. And people should do their research. There's no point in buying a border collie off a farm and expecting it to sit in your house all day and do absolutely nothing. That is not good mental health for a dog. So the picture is big. That there is a problem. People often buy a dog because they saw a picture of it or they saw one in the park, and they simply don't do enough research. And then you've got issues with sometimes rescues and breeders don't tell the truth. There are brilliant rescues out there who fully assess dogs. There are breeders who are very careful who they sell to, but the opposite is true as well. We have huge problems with puppy farm dogs, with backyard breeders, and these people are breeding dogs with poor health, poor temperament, not socialised before they're sold to the general public, and people need to start asking better questions before they part with their money to bring something into their family that could live there 15 years.
Debbie, what are the questions? If you're looking to buy a dog, what are the things you need to look out for? What breed should you be looking out for? And what are the breeders? What are the questions about the breeders in particular?
Well, my good friend Mark Abraham, of course, spearheaded the Pup Aid campaign, and there is going to be Lucy's Law coming into enactment this year, I believe. That is going to effectively stop third-party sales. So their Where's Mum campaign and the hashtag Where's Mum is part of this. If you're going to buy a puppy, if there's no parent, if there's at least mum should be there, you should know where dad is so you can go and see him if that's what you choose to do. And you should ask questions and do your research. You need to know, does this breed have hereditary problems? Are the parents tested? Does this breeder seem to be keeping them in suitable conditions? So before you part with your money and bring that dog home, do a bit of research. Ask professionals, ask rescues. One of the things I say to people if they want a breed that's new to them is go and speak to the breed rescue. Find out what the common reasons are that this breed comes into rescue later on. What mistakes are being made? And it's a great starting point to learn not to make the mistakes that other people have and to find out if that breed is even suitable for you and your lifestyle.
Let's talk about laws. The Dangerous Dog Act. Some people say it's inconsistent and misguided. What do you think about it?
Well, I work within it, so I absolutely respect it. There are issues. It was a little bit rushed as legislation, so there are some anomalies in it. In fact, in court on Friday, I discovered a new anomaly in it to do with an order against somebody banning them from owning dogs in future. There are lots of issues with how it was written. We have the 4 banned breeds in this country, and one of the most confusing things is pit bull type. It confuses everybody.
What are
Pitbull
the
type.
four? Sorry to jump in there. What are the four
That's right.
banned breeds?
Well, we're talking Dogo Argentino, Japanese Tosa, Fila Brasileiro, and the best known and the one you probably see the most, which is Pitbull type. And type is the important factor here. Any dog that fits a substantial number of the characteristics that are laid out in the government guidelines, any dog that has a substantial number of those characteristics can be taken to court and accused of being a pit bull type dog. Now, there's no legal definition of what substantial means, so this causes another problem. I'm so sorry, my cat's helping now. We need to...
No, it's okay. They need attention.
He doesn't like everything being about dogs all the time. So we have an issue with no definition of substantial in law. So there is quite a discrepancy from force to force, from expert to expert, on what constitutes a substantial number of characteristics. And although it's in all of this time, there's some standardisation, there really isn't enough. So, for example, one force could say, well, that dog has 50% of the characteristics, it's a pit bull. Another force might say 70%, another might say 40%. It's quite difficult for owners to know what they've even got and how to challenge this. So type is important in the pit bull version. And these dogs that become exempt, which is a court action, you can't just put a muzzle and a lead on your dog and neuter it and say that dog's now a legal pit bull. It has to go to court. It's the only way that you can own one legally. But it is often a crossbreed of all sorts of different shapes and sizes that happens to have a substantial number of characteristics. It's an argument fought in court, and only if the dog is of good temperament does that dog get to go home.
OK, Debbie Connolly, we're going to let you talk to your cat now. Thanks a lot for chatting to us.
Thank you.